Okay, welcome. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's meeting. We'll have a guest lecture. I'd like to introduce our chair for today's meeting, Dr. Chumpon Timpong. He is a Raja Mongkol University Council member, and our distinguished guest from Germany, Dr. Alfred Leidig. He is the Bavarian Thai Academic Cooperation President. Today, Dr. Alfred will give a lecture on energy savings entitled Green Technology, and he'll also focus on how this green technology is incorporated into the German educational system. And following his two presentations, he'll give a short presentation on his university and talk about how there are certain ways where we can look at joint master degree programs. And any questions that you may have, please don't hesitate to ask him, or you can ask the international staff and we can forward the question on to him. So I'd like to begin by opening the floor to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, distinguished President von Supata. Thank you very much for the invitation. Dear Dean, dear friend Chupon, my old friend, he is my manager in Thailand. I have always a very strong schedule because of his activities. And I'm really glad to get yesterday the honorary degree, the doctor degree. Thank you very much for this great honor for me. And I hope I can do in the future a little bit more for your university and also for our cooperation with our university. So, my presentations should begin with, I hope so, yeah, with our situation, our current situation at the moment. I call this presentation the green technology. We have, you can see wonderful pictures get from our astronaut Alexander Gerst. He has come to get back, I think, 4 weeks ago from his space lab and sent us wonderful pictures. But he mentioned that he has seen in the, for instance, in the Amazonas region, that there are a lot of regions without forests. It was a terrible impression for him. Yeah? So we can see it's our blue planet, and we have four, I would say four directions. The one is our land, and especially the material, the raw material we win from our planet. The second one, very important, is water, the air, and the energy. And at first, the global material management is very important for all of us, especially the raw material. And the second one is the biological capacity. We can measure it by a defined human footprint. We should not need more biological capacity than we get from our planet back. That means we must reduce our consumption. The next one, can we reduce the light a little bit? Because otherwise you cannot read the presentation. Okay, this is okay. You can see the worldwide consumption of water. About 70% we need for agriculture, 20% for industry, and 10% for domestic use. But some politics says that water will be the reason for next wars. Yeah? We will fight for the water. Then another one is the air pollution. We have a lot of smoke and various chemicals kills 3 million people per year. And I remember very well when I have been here in Bangkok the first time, it was 20 years ago, it was 1994. We have a lot of dust here in Bangkok. It was terrible. And then the fourth one is a very important one, because you should know we have enough energy on our planet. The global energy consumption, when we calculate it with 100%, then we can get by renewable energy sources more than 3.5 times from our sun, 50% from the wind, and 40% from geothermal, 20% from biomass, and 50% from the water energy, and also from the sea by waves and tides, 10%. I think this is a very interesting situation. And now I show you a frog. He's living in the Amazonas region, but I hope we will have such kind of animals also in the future. And I think the green technology, the question is if we have a chance in our future. So I found one very interesting speech from the Indian chief Seattle. He was the city of Seattle was named from him. He said, "We have not inherited the earth from our ancestors, from our parents. We only borrowed it from our children." I think it's a very philosophical sentence with a lot and a very interesting content. So, I want to talk about the current situation and the climate change, environmental policy guidelines. I will give you some information how we try to handle it in Germany. Then about advanced building and insulation technology from our university also, and the activities in the future. The energy saving is a very complex situation, but we will get a growth in the emerging markets. This will be for the industry very interesting. I will not read all I show you, because you get handouts. There's all included, and you get also in the handouts more information. I have shortened the presentation a little bit. I only want to give you an idea that you are sensibilized for this situation. So, one fact is the global middle class is growing very rapidly. That means also we need more energy. Yeah, the middle class income is from US dollar from 4,000 to 70,000 per capita, and you can see that we have an unbelievable increasing rate. Yeah? By 2030, China and India will make up about 44% of the global middle class. Yeah? And this means more than just a rising number of consumers. This trend is also reflected in urbanization. More people are coming from the country to the cities. That means also they need more and more energy. You can see here it's compared in Europe from the year 1980, 2005, and in the future 2030. We will have a consumption in Europe from about 70% to 80%. It's not so critical, but especially in Asia and also in Africa, there will be the share of population living in the cities much increasing. And worldwide, you can see we will have more than 20% people living in the city in the future, from 40% to 61%. Then that means a sustainable energy consumption. think I have two here in the microphone. The energy consumption with the renewable energy will increase 3 times more, that means 30%. The global demand for the energy is rising in steps with world population growth, while conventional energy resources such as oil and gas are limited. I have given more information on the, I must not read all the, you can see here, but according to the VEC, the global share of renewable energy sources is expected to rise from current level of approximately 7 to 30% by 2050. You can see that we all are thinking about our situation, we are discussing, but also at the last summit in Lima, many politicians and scientists are discussing, but it happens not too much, I would say. So, here I have written climate change, greatest challenge of the future. The facts are now well known. We know that the climate is changing at the moment, but we know not exactly the reasons. Some facts are the years 2010 to 2007 were all among the 10 warmest years on record since 1880. In Germany at the moment we have very warm winter seasons. Normally in Germany we have this month, December, before Christmas, we have snow, we have minus temperature. At the moment we have 5 degrees plus. No snow, no skiing, yeah? The mountains are free, not white. Yeah? Then have you known that sea levels rose from, in the last 130 years, nearly 20 centimeters, the sea levels. That means islands like the Maldives, yeah, will not exist in maybe 20 or 30 years. Yeah. Then we have also an increase in natural disasters. Always we get news in the TVs, last time in the Philippines, yeah. And according to a 2008 study, also CO2 emission, the greenhouse gas, grew 4 times faster from 2000 to 2007 than in the previous decade. And also, maybe you have not seen this, the slowdown of the glaciers and the poles also. These are all very critical facts, and here you can see it. This is a rise in temperature. I have given always the source. Here you can see the literature. And in the next 100 years, maybe we have the temperature increase of about 6 centigrade. And it's not only on the northern part or Europe or anywhere, it's worldwide. You can see worldwide this effect. Then extreme weather events like hurricanes or floods have increased disproportionately in recent years. Here you have the CRED has given a report where around the turn of the century there were about 500 to 550 natural disasters per year. It's a lot. And here is are the effects, the global nature disasters since 1900. And you can see here the peak. Although this number did fall to about 300, 350 in 2008, we don't know why at the moment. And here you can see the sharp increase in natural disasters around the world for the rising costs. The highest costs we get from the hurricane Katrina, but also in your catastrophe, the tsunami in it's now 10 years ago. In the next week, we have the 10 years annually. You can see here the cost of this. Economy and ecology thus have the same interest, reducing pollution, using renewable energy and making more efficient use. Then now we can take it a little bit faster, I would say, the reduction of greenhouse gas concentration. If we will do nothing against this, if we have no reduction of greenhouse gases, to say business as usual, we have this line. It's always increasing, and in view of rapidly advancing climate change, the world is working towards a scenario that reduces emission to this value of 440 ppm. Then we can reduce it. That means we have the possibility to do something to reduce the greenhouse gas. Here is a forecast for the CO2 emissions for different countries. You can see the sharpest increase we will get in the so-called BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India and China. But if you calculate it to the capita, it is not so extremely, I would say. So I have also some CO2 emissions by comparison in China, in the States. This is the CO2 emission in kilotons, and in Germany and also Thailand. It's not so critically, I would say, compared with the two other countries. And CO2 emissions per capita is otherwise. You can see here Germany is very high, yeah, because we have high industry, we need a lot of energy for our industry, and the population is not so high. Yeah? And in China, it is related. Yeah? Also Thailand is similar to China in the CO2 emission per capita. I think it's very interesting, this information. So and here, it's terrible. I would say it's really terrible to see the slowdown of our glaciers. You can see here, these two pictures are the Aletsch glacier in Switzerland in 1900, and then in 2005, from the same position, the picture. This is the picture of the Ecological Research Center in Germany. Here you can see the glacier, and it's reduced. And here you can see the cross sections through the Pasterze glacier. It's also in Switzerland from 1852 to 2004. This is a reduction. Otherwise, we can see that the Perito Moreno glacier in Patagonia is not so critically, but I have been there also for holidays sometimes, but you can wait when the glacier is calving and when the ice breaks down. You can, every 5-10 minutes, the ice was broken from the glacier. So, the political objectives are, we must strike a new path to increase the sustainable and renewable energy sources like sun, wind, geothermal. I mentioned it before. This can only be a long-term concept. But a more effective concept would be to reduce the energy consumption, especially in all sectors. This would be a short-term concept. And I think it will be more effective if we start with this effective to reduce the energy consumption. Here are also some information about the political objectives in renewable energy for 2020. It's very optimistic, I would say. Here you can see Europe. it's from 2006 to 2020, the target. In 2020, renewable energy is expected to contribute 20% of the US energy supply, 9 to 0.2% in 2006. This is the situation. And here are other countries in, not only Europe, also here you can see, I think it's Europe, especially. So also the market of the future in wind energy will increase, and meanwhile the market is decreasing because the costs per kilowatt are decreasing because on the other side, sorry, oops. Sorry. Here you have the capacity. This is this pillars, and the lines are the costs per kilowatt. Yeah? And meanwhile, we have a lot of wind parks in Germany, especially in the North Sea, and I think this is one possibility, but at the moment in Germany we have the problem that we can produce in the northern part of Germany, the North Sea, the energy by wind, but we need the energy in the southern part of Germany. That means we need a lot of transfer cables to get the energy from the northern part to the south. Another possibility is solar energy, sources for the future. When you are traveling in Germany through the landscape and all the farmers' houses are full, the roofs are full with photovoltaic panels. Meanwhile, we have also a combined possibility that we have not the plates only against rain, against the weather, but in the plates are integrated the photovoltaic channel. So here's an enormous and growing market for green energy. You can see here in 2005 we have 4% environmental technology. Meanwhile, in 2030 it should be 60% environmental technology. It's a very large market. Here the energy per capita, primary energy use in kilograms of oil equivalent, it's calculated that we have one level for the discussion and to compare it. Here the United States, Germany, and you can see it worldwide, and China and Thailand is already the same if you are calculating per capita. Another one is the electricity consumption in Thailand. It's increasing rapidly at the moment. And you can see because of our political decision, we had no increasing at the moment. We had it's one level, it's stabilizing. And here it's very interesting the tendency, because you can see in the population in Thailand, especially in Thailand, here the population is increasing, also the emission in CO2, and also the energy consumption, and here is the energy consumption per capita. This is the situation in Thailand, but I can only found these values for the year 5 years ago, yeah? But I think it's the same situation at the moment. And these were also some information from Metropolitan Electrical Authority, MEA, about the energy consumption rate. These are old values, but they show that we have an increasing rate for energy consumption about 5 to 7%, I would say. Yeah, you can ask me questions. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Well, thank you. Just because I'm from the outsider, I think I'm not in engineering or I'm in teaching languages. So I am wondering about the cost of producing different kinds of energy, like wind energy or solar energy or the regular form of energy that we are using, the fuel that from the oil or something. Is it different in producing those kind of energy?
Then the costs are lower now. Yeah, we have, I would say, the first research and development, especially for wind plants and photovoltaic panels, were especially in Germany, yeah? And we also have the production. But meanwhile, the personnel costs are too high, so we have the production, for instance, for the photovoltaic panel in China. Yeah? And many companies who were founded 10 years ago, they are now insolvent because the personnel costs are too high to make these panels, for instance. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, the goals for the reduction of energy consumption, I have mentioned Lima. We are discussing for a long time. For instance, in Kyoto Protocol, it was in 1990, we tried to reduce the energy consumption from the energy consumption from 100% to, the plan was to 45% in 35 years, and this in total. And in housing, we tried to reduce it from 51 to 15%, and also in the traffic. At the moment, it's very okay. This is okay. At the moment, it's very popular in Germany, the electro cars. I don't know, do we have it also in Thailand? Electro cars? Hybrid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And BMW is producing a new small city car, special with electric. Yeah. And my follower, the president of our university, has also a hybrid. And when he, yeah, perfect. Perfect. But I think it's we must be careful, because every car, to move from one location to the other, we need energy. Yeah? The energy has only a new name, yeah? Because we must also produce the electricity, the electric power for our electric cars. Yeah? That means on the other side, not more reduction of energy. Maybe it's the same, but it's only another name. Yeah? We have only, we have to need this energy. Yeah? So one is gasoline or the gas, here the electric, but we need it. But it's I think it's much better. So in Germany, we have some requirements, especially in thermal insulation, protection from moisture, sound insulation, fire safety. It's very expensive, meanwhile, and the thermal insulation. And also individual demands, like interesting architecture or good quality of labor, energy efficient construction, and variability of dwelling. So, have you ever seen this label? Have you ever seen this label here? Yeah? In Thailand? I don't know. It's a question. Yeah? Okay. But it's similar. It's similar. Yeah. And from Brussels, we get this evaluation systems, and here you have 4 informations about the product, like a washing machine or a Kitchener, then the illustration, an eye catcher, that you can see exactly where you are in the scale, and the characteristics and additional information here, special, and the labeling organization. I take this one special for the energy labels for windows, because the window is a very, I will show you some information, it's a very complicated part of our wall system in the house. And you can see here the index for the heat, the thermal transmittance, and here the climate zone, because we have different climate zone. It's a certification in a norm. And here you can see it's a different rating, but it's more for physics, I would say. And we have also energy labels, meanwhile, for buildings. That means if someone in Germany wants to buy a house, or he wants to sell a house, then he must have a special certification for his house for the energy consumption. An energy label, and this means we had to make more energy insulation from the buildings, of the buildings, and here you can see old buildings must be restored. For instance, the walls must be insulated, and here you have the balance from the different values for the windows on the southern, eastern, western, northern side, then the ceilings and so on. And here is the air transfer, and also a little bit energy plus by the persons who are living in this house. This value is before insulation, and this one is after the renovation. This, you can see, is a smaller pillars out of the energy cycle. Here also the energy consumption for different room energy, heating. Because you must know, we have in Germany and Thailand, we are in the same situation. We have the same problem. We have too high energy consumption, but the energy consumption is different. In Thailand, you have to cool. This air conditioner are always running, and in Germany we have to heat. Yeah? It's only otherwise, but it's the same. Here you can see the different ranges, electrical energy for appliance and for heat recovery. And we have also, meanwhile, the possibility that we need no energy in a house, but we can produce. That means we have private energy plants. Our university has built a building, designed a building for a decathlon award, a second award, so it's a second award. And this building was a plus energy house. They produce more energy than they need. Here you can see the different possibilities for energy sources. So reference building for balancing the amount of primary energy. You can see the roof, the solar panel, the photovoltaic panel. Solar panel only for domestic hot water. I have installed in my house 2 years ago such a solar panel, and the costs will be an amortization I will get maybe in 10, 11 years. Yeah. I have paid 7,000 euro for this solar panels, and in 10 years I hope they will work this time. So, sorry. No, we have not this one. So, and this one, here you can see the solar collectors for electricity and hot water, and the politicians in Germany have the following energy law for renewable energy. The politics gives a fixed price for 20 years, and then you can install a photovoltaic generation on your roof, and you sell your own energy to a power plant. This is arrow, yeah? And you need also an energy from the power plant. But you get more for 1 kilowatt per hour of euro cent, then you pay. That means you have an amortization after 20 to 25 years with 9% rate of return. And so many German families, if they have the money, they install such a photovoltaic panel to reduce the energy and get more money, earn money from the power plant. Here are some measuring methods for energy consumption. The blower door test, that we know where the gaps are, or we have also pictures with thermal cameras to see where here the windows are not insulated, also the roof is not insulated. And now this is very, very interesting. I know in Thailand there was built many buildings only in concrete. Yeah? Concrete. Everywhere is concrete because it's very light to handle, yeah? And the costs are very low. And we need all concrete in Germany. Yeah? We build also our buildings in concrete, but outside we have an insulation. Yeah? We have insulation, polymer or anything else. And I want to show you, this is also an insulation plate. This, I would say, 15 millimeters insulation has the same effect, it's the same insulation effect as 1 meter, 1,000 millimeter of concrete. Very expensive, because inside it's a vacuum, yeah, but it's very light, yeah. And here you can see the different materials and with the relation of thermal properties of different building materials. Yeah. So for the physics, the external insulation of the wall, if this is the situation in Germany and this is the situation in Thailand. Yeah. We had to heat, and then we have 20 centigrade, and we have to cool down the air. So here's a cross section through such a wall with exterior insulating from a special system. Also, the insulation trends is a so-called accumulator system. I only want to show this not because of the techniques, but that we are working very intensive on different possibilities. How can we store the energy? How can we reduce the energy? Yeah? Here, for instance, is a possibility that this wall, you can see here, the air inside, this is a wood, outside, and inside we have also wood as insulated, as insulation material, but also air is also an excellent insulator. So, I take this picture because I think it's very interesting. You can see here a house, an old house, before and after the insulation of the external wall, and in comparison the thermal picture. Yeah? You can see here it's very warm outside because they lose a lot of energy by heating, yeah, because the heat transfer through the wall, and here you have the insulation. Then the costs, 2 words to the windows. Meanwhile, we have in Germany only double glass windows, and you can see the thermal loss is 60% lower than the single glasses. You have a reduction of 60%. Meanwhile, we have also triple glass windows. The window is a very complicated component, and the thermal loss is 85%. That means we are working through zero with the window. Yeah. This is for the physics of us, the different kind. It's a very complicated system. Yeah? So solar radiation, and you can see the energy transmissions and the reflection and the absorption, and so we get different values. And in Rosenheim we have one institute of window technology. It's an alumni of our university. He has founded this institute. And here you have some values from the insulation glassing. Single glass is here, this value. Then we have double glass, it's a half of this value. And then double glass plus argon inside, and triple glass inside this one with krypton inside. And we can also get a very excellent architecture. You can see here, this is a building in Rosenheim, the bank, and before and after the renovation. Here it's during the night. And also our kindergarten in Thailand we have built, it's also insulated. The walls, the floors, the ceiling, all is insulated. I think it's a very good information. So, recommendations in higher education for future. I think it's necessary to start with such a green project. Lecturers for students and staff members in environmental and green technology at university, I think, should be trained, because the young people are very interested in such education systems. And cooperation partners can be our university, but also we have a Fraunhofer Institute, meanwhile directly combined with our university, and also the Institute for Windows Technology. Yeah. Then, that means we should not wait for political decisions, we should act on our own initiative. Then we can say we have borrowed the earth from our children, and we can hand it back to them. Okay. Thank you. So, do you have any questions? Yeah.
I'm just curious about the network. Can you hear my voice? The part that you mentioned about double and triple glass system, does it work in Thailand? May you suggest that thing to us? It has in German, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, it depends not from the country or from the climate. The function is always okay, because it's a physical system. It's a physical system. We try to reduce this transfer, the heat transfer here. We try to reduce, and you get an insulation because of the krypton, the filling of the between the glasses, yeah. And the system, yeah, because of the reflection, for instance, the solar radiation. Especially in Thailand, I think the effect must be much higher than in Germany because your solar radiation is higher than in Germany. Yeah? And so you get the energy transmittance should be not so high. This one.
So does this one can prevent the heat out as the same as the heat getting in, right? And it's gonna help like to reserve energy. If you use air conditioner inside, it's gonna save the energy not going out.
Yeah.
And this strategy is also have in German have been used already. Or it is just research on.
We have this in a long time. And every house we don't use it. You will find, I would say, in no house, in a newer building, it's unbelievable to use single gas. We have all double gases.
We have all double gas.
We have always double gas. In Germany. Yeah. Then I would say the most effective activity would be to change your windows. Yeah? You lose a lot of energy by the windows. Yeah? This is also the reason that you have the curtains before the windows. Yeah? Yeah.
โอเคผมจะพูดเป็นภาษาไทยนะฮะคือเป็นความคิดนะฮะเขายอมรับธรรมดาแล้วเขาก็ป้องกันอากาศหนาวให้ข้างในอุ่นของเรากลับกันแต่ว่าไอ้ความที่จะทำดับเบิลกลาสเกิดทริปเปิลกลาสเนี่ยเขาได้ผลมามากเลยครับคือคนไทยคิดกันว่าโอ้มันแพงเฉพาะไอ้แก้วแต่ว่าเขาไม่คิดว่าต่อเดือนที่การค่าไฟเนี่ยเขาไม่คิดเนี่ยใช่ไหมอยู่ที่ความคิดธรรมดาไอ้นี่มันคูณกันตลอดชีพนะฮะต่อเดือนแล้วค่าไฟมีแต่จะแพงขึ้นไม่มีถูกลงเพราะว่าค่าแรงของคนไม่มีถูกลงมีแต่จะขึ้นเพราะฉะนั้นเขาคิดจะแค่ว่าของมันแพงแล้วก็ไม่ทำอะไรแต่จ่ายต่อเดือนเนี่ยไม่รู้เท่าไหร่แล้วบ้านเราเนี่ยนะฮะแก้วเนี่ยมีคุณภาพสูงมากเพราะบ้านเราเนี่ยมีสายแก้วที่ดีมากที่สงขลาและที่ระยองซึ่งทำให้แก้วเนี่ยใสจริงๆท่านจะเห็นว่าแก้วนี่ใสมากบ้านเราจนกระทั่งสวาร็อกสกี้เนี่ยก็ใช้แก้วบ้านเราผลิตสวาร็อกสกี้ 90% ของสวาร็อกสกี้ทั่วโลกผลิตในเมืองไทยและส่งไปออสเตรเลียอันนี้คือคุณภาพของสายแก้วนี่คือวัตถุอันนี้อยู่ก็คือเทคโนโลยีความรู้นะครับฉะนั้นไอ้เรื่องอย่างนี้มันอยู่ที่ความคิดถ้าคนคิดไกลน้อยคนที่คิดได้ไกลนะครับทำสักทีเดียวแพงเดียวแล้วต่อไปแต่นี่ยังไม่เขาไม่กล้าลงทุนนะถ้าคุณฉลาดลงทุนนะครับก็ได้
I can definitely attest to it as well. We put solar reflective on our windows, and also changed all of our air conditioning units in our house to have a higher energy savings, and we actually reduced our monthly bill by 50%. And when it gets to the highest point of the year, it was up to 10,000 baht for the thing. So my net energy savings within about 3 years, I'll be able to pay off everything that we did to the house. So I think what you mentioned before is that initially when people see these price tags, it's heavy, but the overall net savings is so good, it returns the money back.
Okay, if you go back to the first slide about the mechanism that we're going to use with reducing the carbon dioxide. Previously we used carbon credit as a mechanism, right? But after 2012, right, it's expired, and I'm wondering what's another mechanism that is we are going to apply to reduce the carbon. What do you think that which mechanism that might work for the world and for everybody?
reduce the carbon emission. In Germany at the moment, we are discussing about, or I would say the politicians are discussing, to use the coal. We have a lot of coal. So the economy, the industry wants to produce energy with coal. But it's unbelievable, the CO2 emission. And I think it's sometimes very difficult. We know the physical situation, and we know also the mechanics. We have the technology, I would say, but because of business interests, we don't need it. We don't use it. Because the costs are too high. It's higher to produce energy with the wind or solar or photovoltaic plates than with coal. And we have a lot of coal in Germany. And you are in a better situation, I would say, because Thailand, you have, I think, 70% is gas energy. You have your own gas refineries, and the energy, the greenhouse gas emission is not so high. But the traffic, you must say also the energy, the greenhouse gas, the CO2 emission of the traffic is also very high. If you see your cars, sometimes especially the heavy cars, black. Okay. Yeah.
I'll explain the situation in Thailand more. It's like last 10 years, the renewable energy business in Thailand is growing very much because of the carbon mechanism, and as you might know already, that a lot of German companies buy the carbon from Thailand because we are not in Annex 1, right? So I think that mechanism helps a lot in like energy, renewable energy business in Thailand, but now is not going to apply anymore. So situation I think in Thailand is like going quite slow right now because there's no drive. So I'm just wondering, maybe the world come up with another drive or something like that.
I believe one reason is that we make a business by to like in the stock aging, with the carbon emission. You can buy carbon emission from countries who don't have high emission, to reduce your own emissions. It's unbelievable. It's only business. Yeah.
Could we, when she mentioned about carbon credits, could we say that because demand will soon eclipse supply, will it be the private industry that will have to make this change? That government pushing them to change over and use carbon credits, will it be instead of just a natural reaction to the fact that oil prices, coal prices will be too high, and that we will start having to focus more and more on these renewable energy? Because for example, I look at 2030, I do agree with you that resource-based conflict is real. And by 2030, we look at China needing more energy needs than the global outlook can be. So we have this kind of moment where will it be private industries, Thai companies, German companies that will lead the way versus the United Nations kind of putting down protocols for change. And so that's kind of how I think, I mean, Kyoto Protocol, these kind of issues, stuff like that, it becomes very difficult for more advanced economies to be able to stomach that, whereas emerging nations don't want it either because they don't want to hold themselves back. So, yeah, and with water as well. Would you like to take the time to talk about your university, and we can hold these questions?
Okay.
Just one simple question from the picture in slide 34 that you mentioned about the Japanese has a style of the energy consumption reduction in 2025, right? I just wonder in Thailand if it has some strategy, some way that we can reduce such like Japanese. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the slide that would make us surprised, and we would like to know how can we get like this? What kind of plan and strategy? How can you make this kind of tentative of this graph going from that one very steep, so like this?
This is the reduction of energy consumption after the summit of Kyoto. This is the Kyoto Protocol. Yeah, the Kyoto Protocol. They have decided that we should have an energy consumption from 1999 in total from 100% to 55%. Yeah, this was a political decision. Yeah, this was a plan here. Yeah, this is a plan. Yeah, and these are the different kind of energy consumption, like housing, traffic, and industry. Yeah.
Because we are your department, Dr. Omara, we are the partner of IGAC. We should present this to IGAC because IGAC needs us to develop technology from Germany for IGAC. It's a good question that you mentioned this. And IGAC already go to Germany.
And these are very lofty goals. Excuse me, Ajahn. These are very lofty goals. I mean, when Kyoto Protocol comes forward, they want to get to this full reduction. Is it possible? You know, you're mentioning on the merits of it. Is it possible? No. Can it go all the way down? Probably not.
What the plan?
Well,
strategy.
It's up to the individual countries to decide on the strategies. You know, traffic. How could we reduce traffic? Maybe we could not give subsidies for new cars, to put new cars on the road. How could we make housing? We could make tax benefits for people to renewable energy in their house. I mean, these are constructive ways that each individual country has to make the choices.
I must say, we have also to reduce the energy consumption. We have the possibilities. We have meanwhile new technology, for instance, in air conditioning, low current air conditioning. If you would use only in your country only low current air conditioning, you can save a lot of energy, believe me. And if all the filter systems will be cleaned, I suppose it is one power plant. Believe me, I have one value read in only to clean the filter in the
We also have the activity like this in Thailand. Do you remember there's the one of reducing energy ที่การไฟฟ้าให้ดับไฟ1 ชั่วโมง Yes, we turn off for 1 hour everywhere in Bangkok. Yes, and we can reduce a lot, many million baht.
Can we?
So next we'll give a short presentation of your university.
Now at first I must say Rosenheim, some of you have been in Rosenheim and know where Rosenheim is located. Rosenheim is in the southern part of Germany near the mountains between Munich and Salzburg. There's a highway, and I think in Bavaria it's a very nice region. And but I must also say, maybe you know that the Bavarian beer breweries are very famous, but also the Bavarian high technology is famous. Not only that the Bavarian people is drinking beer, we are also make research and applied sciences. So here you have some information, but I only want, this is not too important, but only some facts. You can see at the moment we have 6,000 students. In our universities, the number of students is not so high as in Thailand. We have, for instance, the greatest universities in Munich, they have about 50,000, yeah, like the Ludwig Maximilian University or also the Technical University of Munich, they have about 40 to 50,000. But the upper limit should be 4,200 because of the infrastructure. It makes no sense if you make a lecture in cinema rooms or anything else. Yeah? And the infrastructure must be excellent for a good and excellent qualification. Yeah? And you can see we have at the moment 27 courses of study, 7 faculties, 140 professors, and I must say professors are in Germany, I think, a little bit otherwise than here. Yeah? For instance, for my person, normally you should have worked 5 years in the industry. Otherwise you cannot get the professor. Yeah? That means you have practice, you know how it works in the industry, and then you get professor. And every 10th semester, that means after 5.5 years, you can make, as lecturer, a so-called industrial semester. You are free from teaching, and you go to the industry and learn in the industry, work maybe for design or construction, or but you have to work in the industry. Then you come back and have a new refreshing of your knowledge, yeah, of practical work. Half a year, and the government, your salary is the same. It's paid from the government. Yeah. The sense is that we should refresh our know-how in applied working. Yeah. Then we have 175 employees in laboratories and about 100 laboratories, and so the costs are very high. Yeah. If you maybe you have seen the one or other laboratory. Also in wood technology, the machines, you know, were very, the costs are very high. So we have sometimes a contract with the industry that they borrow the machines for our university. And if they have a new machine, then they change the machine. This is a good system. Yeah? So we have 4 courses of studies. Business, administration, technology studies, design, and the last time also healthcare. Then these are the different bachelor or master degrees. And I think you have now the handouts, then you can read it if you have time. Yeah. Also, especially in the faculty for engineering, yeah, the technology studies, we have a lot, and you can see here the plastics engineering, the mechatronics, mechanical engineering, and energy and building technology. This is following development of the wood technology, the wood building and the wood building construction, and then because of the wood building we have the possibility to make the energy and building management. Yeah, this was the idea. Then we have also interior architecture, design studies, but they are more architecture than interior architecture. And in the last 2 years we have healthcare management and physiotherapy. And you know, the master degree, the degrees, we have the bachelor degree from 5 theoretical semester and 1 internship semester. And the internship semester must be in the industry, in the laboratory or anything else. You must go, the students must go to the industry. Then they have the last semester, they have the bachelor thesis and also the master courses. This is as a condition. So here we have some information about the faculty in wood technology. We have the course of study in wood technology, special for industrial assembly of wood products like furniture or anything else. And then the wood building construction, frame house and timber construction. Our kindergarten in Rosenheim we have built for Thailand was built here, constructed here, also in contact and cooperation with the industry. And we have interior engineering. That means we have a special course for the ceilings, the floor, the walls inside. Yeah? Like cooling, ceiling or anything else. Then in the Faculty of General Science we have the new course of study, Energy and Building Technology. That means we try energy supply, energy transport and energy application is the content. In this course of study we try to teach students renewable energy technologies, technical building equipment, building automation, building physics and building construction. And they have also laboratories for measurement, like the blower door test or the thermal camera for the insulation of buildings. We have also a very intensive discussion with, I think, with CPO. Japan knows more about this project. I think this is very interesting to reduce their energy consumption. Yeah. If you look at the 7-Eleven shop, every time the door is up and open and close and close and open, in the windows, the singing yards and so on. Yeah. And I think they can reduce a lot of energy if they make more technique in their equipment. Here you cannot read, I'm sorry for this. This is a curriculum, because some ask me if they can get the curriculum. This is the curriculum from the first semester, I think it's here, yeah. It's a normal courses. Can you read it also in your, is it possible? Yeah. But it's a special discussion, I would say. Yeah. Then we have one special course of study in the Faculty of General Sciences, special for in the course for energy and building management, to building physics, fire protection. At the moment in Germany we invest a lot of costs in fire protection. I don't know why. It's unbelievable. Really, we have restored our university also, and we need new, but we have also the fire protection here. Yeah. And special how to for the restoration of buildings. It's not so easy and it's very complicated. And roof facades, drainage engineering and fabrication, construction and production, especially for this. And this is for the building envelope, the walls outside, the facade. Yeah? It's a special course or study, a study focus. Yeah? So, and we have also research near our university, and here are some projects. Example for solar decathlon. This was the project building a zero energy prototype house for international competition. It was in 2010. We get the second prize. The first one gets University of British Columbia in Canada, and it was a team of 50 students from all faculties. It was all over the faculties. It was very excellent, but the budget, you can see, was 1.4 million euros. Then we have, meanwhile, excellent continuing education for master programs. Special, I would say, very interesting is the management and leadership, this MBA for management and leadership. Because many engineers, when they are working in the industry, they make career and then they have no training in personal leading and in the management. And so we have here management and leadership for master students. They are coming from the industry. So our international contacts, we have a lot of contacts, but I would say only 10%, 50% is live inside the MOU and inside the contact. Sometimes it's very, very difficult to get more live in there. So but I only want to mention, this is the focus of this presentation, I want to mention the joint degree, a master in green and energy efficient buildings. You see, it's a joint degree program with the University of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and they have technical modules, management modules, also language modules, and master thesis. And they are graduated as Master of Engineering Technology in Green Building, Energy and Management. And this is a master course. It's directly in Kuala Lumpur. Our lecturers are traveling to Kuala Lumpur for 1 or 2 weeks and are teaching. And then the students should also go to Rosenheim for a short time to get practice in the laboratories. Yeah. And this is an excellent project. Here you have also the courses of this master degree. It's listed here, and also the credit points, I think. And here are the requirements for the first year students for this master degree. They should have the Bachelor of Engineering or the Bachelor of Science, the Bachelor with working experiences of 1 year in the field of relevant to the master program, like architect or building engineer or anything else, and a minimum of the CGPA value of 2.75. Meanwhile, the program has been launched in February 2011, and we have meanwhile 5 graduates and at the moment 27 graduates. That means it would be great if your university would be interested. We have, I think we have 2 possibilities. We can try to make a joint degree together with Rosenheim, yeah, that like with Würzburg, yeah, and in this kind of energy and building management. But I must say, I must also discuss it with my university. And the other point is, we could also include your master students in Kuala Lumpur. This would be another possibility. I think the costs will not be too high then. Yeah, or we found a new one. Yeah? I must say this master degree was supported by the DAAD. Yeah. Yeah. From both sides, Kuala Lumpur and Roseheim.
For this DAAD is the biggest of the world ผมเรียนภาษาไทยกันทุน DAAD เนี่ยเป็นทุนที่ใหญ่สุดของโลกนะของเยอรมันให้ปีนึงประมาณเป็นเงิน 20,000 ล้านบาทให้ฟรีนะครับไม่มีใช้คืนแล้วก็แชร์แมนของทุน DAAD เนี่ย20 ปีผู้เสพและแชร์แมนด้วยท่านยอมรับเป็นแชร์แมนของคำประธานของผมในเยอรมันเพราะนั้นท่านเนี่ยเป็นหนุนเราได้ด้วยดีนะฮะคือBTACCเนี่ยนะผมเป็นแชร์แมนฝ่ายไทยแล้วคุณกรศักดิ์ใครจะเป็นคุณกรศักดิ์ครับส่วนตัวแชร์แมนนั้นก็เป็นแชร์แมนเชียร์ซึ่งเป็นอดีตPresident ของทูเดย์20 ปีแล้วท่านก็มาต่อจะเป็นแต่ท่านก็เป็นบารมีมากและท่านแสดงออกมากนะวันที่ท่านได้รับปฐมเด็จคุณากรที่เมืองไทยประมาณแล้วผมก็ได้ขึ้นบ้านของเยอรมันท่านทูตเยอรมันจัดงานใหญ่มากนะครับผมว่างงนะผมก็นึกว่าความรู้ทั้งคู่เป็นคำทำที่เขาทำเป็นเรื่องนั้นทำให้ไทยผมเป็นไทยทำให้แล้วก็ท่านคุณเดดีเนี่ยเรามีสิ่งที่จะแล้วก็ตัวเป็นเส้นของคุณเดดีปัจจุบันเนี่ยนะก็เคยเป็นอาจารย์อยู่มช.5 ปีน่ารักเมืองไทยมากนั้นอะไรที่เราจะ move กันเดดีเนี่ยย่อมมีโอกาสจะเป็นไปได้นะคือปกติผมเรียนทราบว่าการเรียนเยอรมันเรียนฟรีเพราะเราเรียนฟรีเลยเราจะเสียแต่ค่าใช้จ่ายที่เรียนมันถูกมากแต่ถ้าได้คุณเดดีแล้วยิ่งดีนะนี่เดดีเนี่ยไม่ใช่เฉพาะไทยผมเลยเนี่ยอาจารย์เนี่ยมันที่มีอะไรก็ได้ทำเด็กนี่ผมอยากจะเสริมของเรื่องมหาลัยคือมหาลัยเขาเนี่ยมีคุณประโยชน์มหาศาลกับประเทศไทยท่านก็ทราบมาว่าไม้ยางพาราที่มันทำเป็นเฟอร์นิเจอร์แล้วก็ทำเป็นเครื่องคิดชุดแบบอะไรต่างๆเนี่ยเป็นอ้อมรายอย่างนี้ไม่ใช่คนไทยเราเป็นคนอังกฤษที่อยู่ในยุโรปเขาเป็นเจ้าอาณานิคมเขาไปร่วมกับมหาลัยในสมัย30 ปีใช้เทคโนโลยีใช้อักษรยาและอบเขียนกันจนกระทั่งไม้ยางพาราเป็นไม้เนื้อแข็งไม้ยางพารานี่ปกติแล้วถ้าเราเอาไปถึงไว้กลางแดดเดือนเดียวมันกลายเป็นขนมปังมันอ่อนมากแต่เขาใช้เทคโนโลยีของจนกระทั่งเป็นไม้แข็งทำตรงนี้ได้แล้วเราก็มีแปลนต่อไปว่าเนื่องจากตอนนี้เราตอบเลยว่ารายได้ที่เราได้จากไม้ยางพาราที่ขายออกไปเป็นเฟอร์นิเจอร์อย่างเดียวเป็นชั้นแสนล้านเพราะว่าแต่ที่ว่าเรามีปัญหาหนักคือว่าเมื่อเราต้องโค่นสวนยางเนี่ยไอ้ไม้เนี่ยมันใช้เป็นเฟอร์นิเจอร์ที่แบบไม่พอครับไม่เหลือจีนมาขอซื้อไม้ดิบไปแล้วไปทำสินค้าเหมือนกับเราตีเราสิไปทั่วโลกเพราะนั้นผมพยายามทำแอปพลิเคชันว่าให้ใช้ไม้ยางพาราให้มากที่สุดเพื่อจะได้ไม่เหลือสองนี่ไอ้การที่เนี่ยก็เลยตกลงกันทางดร.สุชาติชนีเขาก็จะขึ้นเป็นอธิการบดีของรัฐบาลแล้วก็เป็นPresident เป็นนายกสสท.นะแล้วเขาอยู่ศรีวิชัยเพราะนั้นเราจะใช้เขาเป็นอดีตประธานบอร์ดของการจะใช้ไม้ยางพารามาเป็นไม้เนื้อแข็งในการวงกบประตูหน้าต่างพื้นบ้านฝาบ้านแต่ให้มากที่สุดเพื่อไม่ให้ไม้ยางเหลือสองร้อยเพราะนั้นจะมีโอกาสอย่างมากแล้วผมก็มีแนวเรียกว่าคิดว่าเราจะต้องช่วยคนไทยที่เขาปลูกบ้านทุกบ้านครองให้เขาย้ายแต่ว่าต้องหาที่ทำงานถ้าเราให้เขารับจ้างแล้วเขาอยู่ที่ไหนต้องช่วยเขาหาที่เช่าแล้วผ่อนส่ง30 ปีใช้ไม้ยางพาราเลยนะในการสร้างบ้าน แล้วมันถูกนะครับถูกมากเลยเพราะปกติแล้วเมื่อก่อนแม่ยางพาราไม่มีค่าแต่นี่มันก็เริ่มแพงแต่ก็ยังเหลืออันนี้ก็คือเป็นแล้วก็ทางที่จะพัฒนาเทคโนโลยีก็คือไม่ใช่ไทยก็มาอะไรที่เขานอกเหนือจากแม่ยางพาราตอนนี้เขาทำในเสิร์ฟในไผ่สวยมากเลยครับแล้วก็กำลังทำรีเสิร์ชเรื่องมาไอ้ต้นอะไรตามที่บอกที่เราจะเป็นล้านต้นที่มันหมดอายุมันยืนตายนะก็เอาแล้วก็ไม่ต้องใช้สตังค์เพื่อเอามาใช้ประโยชน์อันนี้ก็คือแล้วถ้าเห็นในรูปเมื่อกี้เนี่ยนะฮะมันมีเขาเรียกเสียคัดรอดเรียกว่าถ้าเป็นคัดรอดแบบว่าทศกิจทศไงทศกรีธาเนี่ยที่คัดรอดเขาเป็น10 หน่วยงานที่มาร่วมกันทำให้บ้านดังนั้นออกแบบยอดเยี่ยมมากคือใช้เป็นโซล่านี่ได้แบบพออยู่แล้วเนี่ยมันก็เรียก zero energy house คือไม่ต้องเสียค่าไฟเพราะว่าผลิตไฟได้ในส่วนเองโดยโซล่าที่แล้วไฟเหลือขายแล้วมันอยู่ที่หาเงินเข้ากันแล้วเมื่อตอนที่พระเจ้าเกล้าธนบุรีจะไปประกวดเมื่อตอนกลางปีเนี่ยเมื่อปีแล้วผมบอกส่งให้ไปดูที่ผมทำผมแฮปปี้มากเลยแต่ว่าเนื่องจากเขาคิดว่าเขาจะทำเองมันนี่การประกวดที่ฝรั่งเศสเป็นจอมการเมืองเลยถ้าไม่มีพรรคพวกหนุนไปนะมันไม่ได้ก็ไม่ได้จริงๆถ้าทำกับโรงงานมันจะทำได้เพราะเยอรมันคือขุนทางใหญ่ของEUท่านจะต้องทราบเลยนะเพราะว่าตลาดหุ้นฟรังก์เฟิร์ตเนี่ยเป็นเจ้าของตลาดหุ้นนิวยอร์กโบราณแล้วตลาดหุ้นนิวยอร์กเนี่ยเป็นเจ้าของตลาดหุ้นลอนดอนแล้วก็เจ้าของตลาดหุ้นอัมสเตอร์ดัมซึ่งแปลว่าทุกอย่างอยู่ในมือเยอรมันทั้งสิ้นคนรวยจริงนี่ไม่โฆษณาไม่พูดอะไรเงียบๆเพราะฉะนั้นอิทธิพลมหาศาลของ EU ก็อยู่ที่เยอรมันคนรวยจริงไม่พอเพราะฉะนั้นเราโยกันแล้วท่านจะเห็นมีรูปที่เขาจะทำโรงเรียนทุกวันโรงเรียนเมื่อตอนสวิตครบปีเขาร่วมทำกับผมเอาล็อกดาวน์ไม้ที่เราอยู่มาบริจาคให้ที่เราได้เราประกอบการตอนนี้ผมจะให้พระจอมเกล้าทำนี้ครับช่วยทำแบบบ้านข้างหลังเนี่ยครับอิสราเอลนะฮะอิสราเอลมันมีเสียหายอยู่ตลอดจนข้างบ้านแล้วก็เช้าเปิดแอร์1 ชั่วโมงดับเปิด1 ชั่วโมงนะครับความเย็นอยู่ถึงเย็นตกอุณหภูมิตกประมาณ1 เดี๋ยวนี้ก็ยังเปิด1 ชั่วโมงและตรงโรงเรียนนี้ก็ยังอยู่เป็นที่ชื่นชมคนไปดูเยอะแยะเป็นที่ท่องเที่ยวด้วยแล้วลูกหลานก็เพราะว่าให้เด็กฝึกทำร้านแล้วอยู่ภายใต้การดูแลผมก็ยกให้ท่านผู้ซื้อชัยแหวนแล้วยังมีโรงเรียนผมอีก2 โรงเรียนที่เยอรมันไปสร้างไว้เพื่อสร้างใหญ่โตมากเขาบอกนิดๆหน่อยๆนะเป็นเกียรตินะเป็นยูโรเขาก็ยกผมดูแลผมก็ให้ศรีวิชัยดูเพราะฉะนั้นอะไรพวกนี้ได้ทั้งคุณค่าของได้ทั้งคุณค่าของสถานที่เราน่าจะไปดูแลพระราชาเป็นดูแลโรงแรมที่มันนี่เป็นโซล่าที่เราอยู่ที่นู่นคือที่เราจะถ่ายต้องไปดูนะครับมันเป็นวิธีใหม่ที่ว่าโลกนับเรื่องใช้โซล่าเซลล์นะครับใช้โซล่าเซลล์แต่10 หน่วยงานไอ้ท็อปไอ้เบอร์ 1ก็คือมหาวิทยาลัยนอกนั้นเป็นบริษัทต่างๆคือ10 หน่วยงาน10 หน่วยงานโซล่าเซลล์แล้วก็มีวิธีการออกแบบยอดเยี่ยมมากมันเป็นบ้านในอนาคตเยอรมันทำอะไรเยอรมันลงหน้า10 ปี 20 ปีแม้กระทั่งโรงงานรถยนต์อย่างของโฟล์คสวาเกนเนี่ยที่ได้จะไปตั้งกลางเมืองเดสเดนไม่ได้เป็นเมืองเก่าแต่สวยมากชาวบ้านเดินควรแอนตี้กันเพราะว่าคอยดูก่อนทำเซ็นเซ็นให้ชาวบ้านเชิญเข้ามาสร้างกลางเมืองเป็นโรงงานประกอบรถยนต์โฟล์คสวาเกนเอทอนเป็นพวกอย่างซึ่งสวยงามมากแล้วก็สิ่งแวดล้อมเนี่ยยอดเยี่ยมเป็นการไปแต่งตัวกันเขาทำเป็นโรงงานเรื่องสมัย 20 ปีผมกล่าวว่าผมดูสมเด็จเจ้าเนี่ยอะไรให้ฉันไปดูโรงงานรถยนต์ไปพูดกันอันนี้เป็นโรงงานอีก20 ปีอะไรมาทำแบบนี้เป็นมิชชั่นวันนั้นพวกเราต้องไปดูไม่ทราบการดูเนี่ยพวกเราไปดูกันมาหลายครั้งอย่างท็อปที่เดสเพราะว่าใกล้เคียงอันนั้นเป็นการเพราะฉะนั้นอันนี้มันจะเป็นวิชาความรู้มหาศาลที่จะให้กับคณะวิทยาศาสตร์ที่เราทำแล้วเราจะทายในสภาเมื่อเราทำกับเราเรียนทางกับโรงงานสุดท้ายรัฐถึงก็ตามเราในสังคมเองรัฐถึงตามรับไปดีได้เพราะผมเนี่ยเป็นมีตำแหน่งหนึ่งผมมีตำแหน่งอะไรเป็นแชร์แมนของเยอรมันฟาวเดชั่นก็เยอรมันเอลดูแลผมดูแลคนเดียว5 หมื่นผู้ขอใช้ชื่อแต่ว่าสถานทูตทำงานมีเจ้าหน้าที่เรื่องดูแลคนเดียว5 หมื่นคนแทนที่ออสเตรเลียเพราะฉะนั้นไอ้ความที่เรามันมีแห่งเดียวในโลกไง ที่เจอมันใช้ฟาวเดชั่นอยู่ที่ไหนครับประเทศว่าเมืองไทยมีคนเยอรมันอยู่เนี่ยเขาก็หวังพึ่งพาพวกเราเมื่อผมดูแลเขาดูแลเขาเลยเอาเมืองไทยสูงจะไปจีนจะไปอินเดียจะไปอาที่ต้องมาตั้งเพราะฉะนั้นทุนเรียนนี้ต้องมีการในเมืองไทยเมืองงานต่างๆต้องมาในเมืองไทยเพราะฉะนั้นเราเป็นอะไรเป็นแห่งแรกนะครับท่านคนทำเรียนมา20 ผมเนี่ยอยู่ที่นี่มาปีหน้าเนี่ยก็ครบ24 ปีผมก็ได้เอาเยอรมันมาให้แล้วเพราะเทคโนโลยีไม่มีที่จบที่ก็ยังไม่ได้จำเป็นการเห็นเกาหลีเนี่ยที่ก้าวกระโดดไปเพราะเยอรมันจะพุ่งทั้งR8แสงญี่ปุ่นเราก็มีสิ่งที่จะทำได้นะครับเยอะแยะมากมายซึ่งผมอยากได้ก็เลยทราบต้องขอบคุณ
Okay, last point. You know, we have two different kinds of university in Germany. The traditional university for research, also for bachelor and master students with a degree, and the University of Applied Sciences. Our graduates are very fast integrated in the industry because we have practice, we have internship. So we have also a very intensive contact with the industry, with the companies in our region, but especially in wood technology over whole Germany. And the students are coming from both Germany regions. So the regional industry asks us, normally we get only your students for half a year for internship. We don't know the student, we don't know his knowledge, we don't know nothing about him, and he can only be in our company, he could not work in a project, could not be integrated in a project or in the company. It's very difficult. Is it possible that we make a dual system? Dual system, I will explain now to you. Meanwhile, we have on the Bavarian universities of applied sciences, in 16 universities, we have 320 dual study offers, such a course of studies, where the students are working between university and the industry, or for business administration also in assurance companies or in banks. So the dual studies, we have the academic studies at the University of Applied Sciences on the one side, and on the other side the students course-related practical training in a company. I always say, in this system we have three partners. We have the university, we have the industry, the company, and we have the student. And everyone has with everyone a contract. The student is enrolled in our university, the student is member of the staff of the industry, and we have also the benefit that the industry have a very narrow, strong contact with our university. Yeah? And this system is, in my opinion, very excellent. And at the top, it could be in the center, a project or a thesis from the industry which the student is working on. Yeah? This is the concept. Yeah? The dual study programs offered by Hochschule Dual, this is an organization from all the 16 Bavarian universities of applied sciences, combines theory and practice through an accurate linking of academic university studies with intensive in-company practice, systematic exchange between university and company, I mentioned it, and smooth transition from studies to professional career. The student is sure that he has a place, he can work when he has finished his studies, the student can go to the industry, to the company, yeah? He can work. and maybe he get also a salary during this time. He has benefit, yeah, and you can see the close coordination and cooperation of university and companies. And so we have two models for the dual system. The first one is, I don't prefer this model, but I only want to show it to you, that you have a qualification in training occupation. I would say something, one example. If a carpenter, yeah, has his qualification in training as a worker, yeah, but he can also get the graduate, the bachelor degree in university. So you have the linking of apprenticeship and studies here, from final certificate in training occupation and bachelor degree. In my opinion, but this is only my opinion, this makes no sense, because if you are a carpenter, then, or if you are a bachelor, then you don't work on the roof of a building or anything else. Yeah? It makes not so much sense. But, yeah, okay, this is another reason. But the second model I prefer, because here you have a practical working company and at the same time studies at the university. And then he gets a bachelor degree and acquisition of professional experience. This is, I think, this is an optimal combination of academic studies. This is perfect. All three partners, the students, the company, and also the universities, have advantages. For instance, the students, knowledge transfer between studies and practical phases, financial security, get a monthly salary. The students know about how real company life works, and 80 to 10% get a job in the company because they know one another. And they train the soft skills and profit from early job entry. Also, the companies has many advantages and benefits. They have young, motivated specialists and executives, especially in the small and medium-sized companies. They have attract qualified engineer or some business economics who also speaks the language of the skilled workers because they are integrated in the company from the beginning. Yeah? And they have attract practice training, academic with close company commitment. Save time and costs, intensive adjustment programs, trainee programs, and can select the suitable main study areas together with the students. And we get also information from the industry if our curriculum is correct. Yeah? It makes no sense when we teach something and the industry is not interested in this knowledge. Yeah? And I think this is very important for both of the boards, for all three partners, this dual system. And we have excellent results from the industry and also from the students. And when I've been president, because the industry always says, we need, and I say, yes, you need, but you must also pay. Yeah? And so they said, it's no problem. I always say, the industry is our customer, yeah? And the students, this is our product. Yeah? And if you produce something with nothing asked for, yeah, then it's not the right way. And we are always in contact with the industry, especially in special councils. Also our faculties have special workshops and so-called faculty councils where the partner of the industry are discussing with us about curriculum, how we should change our study course, yeah, and manage it. I think it's a good cooperation with your customer, that you know what he needs. Yeah? So the dual system is very excellent. Has very excellent results. Okay, thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank you for the presentation today, and as a token of our appreciation, the President would like to give a gift to you and could also take a group photo afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you.
University to produce this kind of engineers.
Okay, it's a good answer. I would say it would be excellent if we could find a way and a cooperation if your lecturers, because we have now the experiences in Rosenheim, yeah, also with Malaysia. When your lecturers can be trained in our university from our lecturers, yeah, can see our laboratories, how we teach, how we work. We have also some research projects, yeah, with this kind. And if we can find a way that maybe a group of 5 or maximum 8, I would say, lecturers can come to Rosenheim, then we make a training program for some weeks. Yeah? Maybe in the months when we have no lectures, this is August and September. Yeah? September would be a good, because August is holiday season, but in September. Yeah. Okay, then we should find another way. But if we can arrange such a training, it would be excellent for your lecturers. Yeah? This is only an idea, yeah? But you must be trained in special measuring methods and anything else. Yeah?
ผมพูดเป็นภาษาไทยเลยนะครับนอกจากจะเรียนแล้วเนี่ยเรามีโอกาสที่สอนเนี่ยนะครับคือผมได้ทำอันนี้กับทางพระนครอาจารย์ก้าวนะครับอาจารย์เนี่ยเราส่งไปเรียนด็อกเตอร์นะฮะโดยเขาก็มีแบบพวกอเมริกันเอาไปเป็นสตาฟกันอยู่ได้เงินเดือนนะแล้วทำด็อกเตอร์ไปด้วยแล้วผมให้ความรู้ต่างๆเมืองไทยเพราะว่าผมรู้เยอรมันเนี่ยเขาบอกว่าศตวรรษนี้คือศตวรรษของเอเชียถ้าไม่รู้เอเชียก็ยังทำธุรกิจต่อไปเนี่ยเพราะเนี่ยมันเป็นประเทศผู้ขายอเมริกากับการเป็นประเทศผู้ซื้อที่ผู้ขายก็ต้องการรู้จักมาร์เก็ตติ้งเขาต้องการรู้คุณภาพเราก็เลยไปสอนอะไรต่างๆที่เมืองไทยยังไงลาวยังไงเขมรยังไงพม่าเป็นยังไงเวียดนามเป็นยังไงจีนยังไงกลายเป็นไปสอนด้วยเรียนด้วยแล้วเขาก็เลยจองตัวไปเลยจากที่เงินเดือนที่ได้ที่แรกไป 3,000 ยูโรตอนนี้ก็ได้ 6,300,000 ประมาณ 2,000,000ก็เลยว่าด็อกเตอร์อะไรก็ไม่ยอมกลับบ้านเขาได้เงินดีเลยไปสอนครับเพราะเขาต้องการรู้ว่าเทคนิคการจะมาทำมาร์เก็ตติ้งต้องมาเข้าทางไหนอะไรแบบนี้เรื่องมันต้องต้นคือทุกอย่างเขาต้องใช้โลเคอลพาร์ทเนอร์ด้วยนะเพราะนั้นร้านอาจารย์ดวงสุรางคนผมบอกเขาดูซีวีแล้วไปสอนได้เนี่ยเรียนไปด้วยแล้วสอนด้วยมันได้เงินเลยแล้วเขาก็ได้เราก็ได้มันทำได้ทั้งสองอย่างเพราะคนเก่งอย่างเดียวก็ย่อมจะคิดว่าผู้ลงเก่งไอ้คนที่เป็นโง่ก็ต้องเป็นโง่เนี่ยใช่ไหมจริงๆคนเขาเก่งเขาเรียกว่าคนเก่งเลยเพราะนั้นเขาได้จะเช็คแล้วเขายอมรับแล้วโดยเฉพาะเมืองไทยเลยชอบเลย แต่คนเยอรมันชอบทำงานเขาก็อยู่ที่นี่คนเยอรมันเป็นชาติเดียวนะครับที่เราพยายามให้เข้าโรงพยาบาลอำเภอมาเพราะผมบอกความช่วยเหลือกับสาธารณสุขเยอรมันหลายสาธารณสุขอยู่เรื่อยๆแม้กระทั่งการออยเนี่ยก็ใส่ declaration เยอรมันเลยนี่มันให้ผมมาให้ผมก็เขาเป็นแค่ใส่ให้โทษไปแล้วก็ถามจะตอบแทนผมจะไปตอบแทนเงินเราสู้ไม่หรอกเอาเรื่องกันให้คนเยอรมันเขาเข้ารักษาโรงพยาบาลเกิดนะเขาเยอรมันก็บอกว่าทำไมกิจสถานเขาพิเศษบอกทำไมก็ไปเสียหาหมอโรงพยาบาลอำเภอเนี่ยก็ดีนะหมอก็ดีพยาบาลก็ดีเสียที300-400 พันบอกอ๋อนั่นอัตราภายบอกเขาได้การบอกเอายูได้รับการพิเศษเพราะว่ายูช่วยประเทศไทยเพราะนั้นไทยก็ช่วยยูก็เสียตังค์ผมเขาแฮปปี้อันนี้มันทำให้คนเยอรมันชอบเขาเป็นแค่จะป่วยแต่บอกว่าเพื่อนผมตัวเซอร์ขับไปเซอร์บอกว่าไอ้การที่คนไข้ไปหาหมอเนี่ยแล้วถ้าหมอดีพยาบาลดีเนี่ยไอ้คนไข้ก็อยากไปหาไอ้โรคภัยมันหายไปครึ่งนึงเลยถ้าใจมันดีเนี่ยโรคภัยมันหายถ้าเครียดโรคภัยมันเพิ่มเพราะนั้นเมืองไทยรู้ถึงกลายเป็นทัพอัตโนมัติถึงควรที่จะมาลองสเตย์เพื่อรักษาตัวเพราะนั้นผมถึงจะมานโยบายว่าให้มทร.พระเจ้าเปิดวิชาพยาบาลเพราะพยาบาลเงินดีนะครับแล้วไม่ใช่เฉพาะทำงานในนี้นะทั่วโลกต้องการพยาบาลได้เงินสูงอยู่นักเรียนเนี่ยมาเรียนให้เรียนคือเรียนไปก็เพิ่มตอนนี้ก็เป็นเรื่องเป็นงานของคณะวิทยาศาสตร์เทคโนโลยีเพราะว่าจริงๆแล้วคณะวิทยาศาสตร์เทคโนโลยีมัน cover วิศวะเนี่ยมันมีโอกาสอย่างมากแล้วเยอรมันเขามีเทคโนโลยีเยอะมากมายซึ่งเขายินดีให้เราแต่ที่เขาโอเคเราถือเขาถือว่าอันนี้โยนเป็นที่ให้แต่ในทางกลับกันเขาถือถ้าเป็นวัฒนธรรมนั้นเขาถือเราเป็นพ่อเป็นแม่เลยแล้วเขาอยากมาเรียนวัฒนธรรมเยอรมันก็ชอบมาสงกรานต์ชอบมาทวิชั่นของเราเป็นประเพณีที่ดีนะเพราะนั้นเขาอยากมาอยู่ในประเทศที่เราถึงจำเกิดเรื่องวัดวังนะครับเราอยู่ในศูนย์กลางของวัฒนธรรมของประเทศไทยก็อยู่ที่อำเภอพระนครเพราะนั้นมันผสมรวมกันเองเพราะนั้นพวกเราเนี่ยมีโอกาสนะครับที่จะไปสอนแล้วก็สอนนะครับขอบคุณ
ขอเพิ่มเติมนิดนึงจะเล่าอาจารย์แลกเปลี่ยนนะมันมีความเป็นไปได้แล้วก็ที่มหาวิทยาลัยก็มีคณะหนึ่งที่ทำแล้วก็คือคณะบริหารธุรกิจนะคะแต่พี่จะบอกว่าลักษณะการที่มันจะเริ่มต้นได้เนี่ยก็คือแรกเริ่มเนี่ยเราจะต้องมีความร่วมมือกับเขาก่อนเรื่องการทำเรื่องของหลักสูตรที่บังเอิญบริหารธุรกิจเนี่ยเขาเริ่มต้นจากการที่เขามีหลักสูตรภาคภาษาอังกฤษนะคะวิชา international business นะคะแล้วเขาก็สอนเป็นภาษาอังกฤษเพราะฉะนั้นเขาก็เริ่มจากการไปทำ joint degree กับมหาวิทยาลัย Wolfsburg ที่เยอรมันพอเราสามารถที่จะมา mapping หลักสูตรกันแล้วเนี่ยสิ่งที่ได้ตามมาก็คือว่าเราสามารถจะส่งนักศึกษาแลกเปลี่ยนเพราะว่าเด็กเนี่ยสามารถที่จะไปเรียนที่โน่นได้ 2-3 วิชาแล้วก็ transfer credit ได้แล้วก็เยอรมันเองเขาก็ส่งนักศึกษาเยอรมันมาเรียนที่เรานะคะทุกปีแลกเปลี่ยนกันไปปีละ3 คน 4 คนแล้วเสร็จแล้วที่สำหรับอาจารย์ก็เช่นเดียวกันพอเราทราบแล้วว่าทางโน้นเขาสอนอะไรเราสอนอะไรทางโน้นเขาก็จะส่งอาจารย์เขามาสอนที่เรานะคะและอาจารย์เราเองก็มีสิทธิ์ที่จะไปเลคเชอร์ที่โน่นเขาก็ส่งกันมาทุกปีแล้วก็อาจจะไปสอนไม่ได้นานนะคะเป็นบล็อกคอร์สอาจจะไป2 อาทิตย์อะไรประมาณนี้ทางโน้นเขาก็จะจัดตารางให้เราเพราะฉะนั้นพี่ถึงบอกว่าทุกอย่างมันมีความเป็นไปได้เพียงแต่ว่าต้องเริ่มต้นจากที่คณะก่อนว่าคณะอย่างเช่นวันนี้เราก็อาจจะเห็นช่องทางแล้วว่าเราอาจจะร่วมมือกับมหาวิทยาลัยโรเซนไฮม์นะคะโดยมี Professor ดร. Leidig เนี่ยท่านก็จะเป็นคนที่ประสานงานให้ก็แล้วแต่ว่าคณะวิศวะหรือคณะวิทยาศาสตร์สนใจที่จะไปร่วมมือในสาขาวิชาอะไรประมาณนี้นะคะแล้วจริงๆ I think we already signed MOU with your university right? Okay เนี่ยเรามี MOU อยู่แล้วเพราะฉะนั้นก็เพียงแต่ลงดีเทลไปว่าถ้าเราจะ exchange ไม่ว่าจะ student หรือ lecturer เนี่ยเราจะมีเงื่อนไขอะไรอย่างไรนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าอาจารย์คิดว่าอาจารย์สนใจอาจารย์ก็ติดต่อได้เลยนะคะโดยตัวเองก็ได้หรือว่าจะผ่านมาให้มหาวิทยาลัยช่วยอะไรก็ได้นะคะ
ท่านคะขออนุญาตพูดเป็นภาษาไทยคือว่าทางคณะวิทยาศาสตร์และเทคโนโลยีนะคะช่วงปิดเทอมใหญ่เนี่ยคือทางคณะเนี่ยได้เรียนขออนุญาตทางมหาวิทยาลัยแล้วนะคะทราบเพราะว่าที่คณะก็จะมีอาจารย์ดร. ในที่เรียนจบจากเยอรมันค่ะแล้วก็ในช่วงของปิดเทอมใหญ่เดือนมิถุนาก็จะขอไปทำรีเสิร์ชกับมหาวิทยาลัยนะคะที่ไปท่านเดียวค่ะแต่ว่าท่านไปดร.ไปทุนส่วนตัวค่าเครื่องบินออกเองนะคะแต่ว่าไปอยู่ที่นู่นเนี่ยก็จะเป็นค่าใช้จ่ายของมหาวิทยาลัยทีนี้ในช่วงตรงนี้เนี่ยก็อยากจะให้เอามาสานต่อแต่ว่าอยากจะให้มหาวิทยาลัยเนี่ยร่วมด้วยก็คือว่าตั้งต้นที่คณะวิทยาศาสตร์แล้วก็คือได้ตัวดร.นั้นไปทำวิจัยแล้วก็พอกลับมาเนี่ยจะเป็นไปได้ที่เราจะทำเอ็นยูกับมหาวิทยาลัยของชื่ออะไรนะคะผู้ใส่ไมค์เป็น apply science นะคะหรือเป็น university ธรรมดา apply science
มันติดเหมือนกันอันนี้เรียกว่าอะไรขอตัดไป
อ๋อ Faculty of Mathematics and Informatics Distance เหรอคะเป็นสอนทางไกลสำหรับปริญญาตรีกับปริญญาโทค่ะปริญญาเอกก็ที่หนูจบมาใช่ค่ะปริญญาเอกปริญญาที่ก็ได้คือพูดแค่ว่ามันเป็นไปได้ทั้งนั้นน่ะถ้ามี contact person ที่ติดต่อโดยตรงแล้วก็ติดต่อแบบจริงจังน่ะนะคะไม่มีปัญหามหาลัยก็สนับสนุนอยู่แล้วนะคะไม่ใช่ทีนี้ของเราเนี่ย13มหาวิทยาลัย Apply Science ในบาวาเรียเนี่ยเราลงนาม MOU แล้ว20แล้วค่ะได้เลยติดต่อแล้วเรามีที่มาที่เราเนี่ยโพสต์นะคะที่ทางสิงห์พอใช่ไหมโพสต์อะไรประมาณนี้
ที่จูนของมีอะไรที่เราไม่ที่
การสมุดเอกสารนะคะเนี่ยด้านวิศวะ
On behalf of Rajamankala University Technology of Pระนคร we all would like to thank you very much for your presentation. Give us a lot of knowledge about the energy and your university as well. Thank you very much.
so much. I'm not sure you've got it already. Sorry. It's a serum.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Sure.
Ah. Wonderful.
And I'd like to welcome everyone up to the front so we can take a group photo.